Go.
Go.
President Richard Nixon, you are being assessed for your involvement at the Watergate Hotel regarding your wiretapping phones and stealing documents from the Democratic National Committee. Your use of presidential powers to skew your re-election campaign is unlawful and will not be tolerated in this court of law. This court is here in question of your presidential immunity.
I'm here today to acknowledge that yes, I was involved in the Watergate scandal, but I am also here to refuse my impeachment.
President Nixon, because privilege is not absolute, although presumptive, we are ordering you to comply with this subpoena, requesting some tapes of your conversation with your aides. With this evidence sent over to the Senate, the decision was made to convict you for your obstruction of justice, abuse of power, and contempt with Congress.
Okay, so what do you guys think about the Nixon case?
I think it's very selfish of him to do that.
Yeah, I think when he became president, I don't think he was necessarily fit to be president because of all the affairs he's had and, like, I don't know.
Well, I thought it was good that he resigned because he used his presidential powers for bad, and so it was good that he resigned. Also, it was good that the court ruled the way that they did because it also set up rules for next presidents to follow.
That's true. And even though he's claimed that he was like protected by like this impeachment law, I think it's good that like the court pushed back, like you said.
Yeah, because there's a lot of other presidents that have done stuff like this,
Yeah.
and because of these laws that were made in the Nixon case, they weren't protected.
Right.
Yep.
President William Clinton, you are being sued by Paula Jones for making sexual advances in your time as governor of Arkansas. You're showing up her hotel and revealing yourself to her, and when you deny your advance, you got upset. The word got out, and Miss Jones was quietly punished in a different way by her superior and her colleague.
You can't punish me. I am president, and I have immunity until I am out of office.
Mr. Clinton, you are claiming that you shouldn't have been
Oh wait, that's the
sued.
next segment. That's the next.
Mr. Clinton, you are claiming that you shouldn't be sued by a lawsuit against you while you're in office. As the Supreme Court, we get to make the decision if the lawsuit will continue. On that, we have decided to uphold that decision. That Constitution does not grant a sitting president immunity from civil litigation, except under highly unusual circumstances, meaning that the Clinton versus Jones can and will go on.
Ma'am, I am okay with that because I know that in my heart I did not do anything wrong.
Good.
Okay, next.
Clinton versus Jones case have been continued as judge. I, Susan Weber Wright, have decided to dismiss the Jones lawsuit because of the lack of evidence.
Thank you, ma'am. I knew that I did not do anything wrong. Okay, next segment. Miss Jones, what is the plan for your lawsuit?
I will be appealing because I believe that what Mr. Clinton did to me was wrong.
Mr. Clinton, I understand that you and Miss Jones have come up with an agreement.
Miss Jones and I have come up with a settlement between the two of us that includes I have agreed to pay her $850,000, but I will not acknowledge wrongdoing.
This case will be dismissed because of you two come up with a settlement that both of you agree on it. Case dismissed.
So what do you guys think about the Clinton case?
I think that they came up with this. Wait, sorry, let me read it. I think it was good that they came up with a settlement, but Jones had to like deal with something that like wasn't okay, and now
Yeah, I think it was definitely, I don't know, the settlement was good, but I mean it was a settlement, so she had to settle.
Right.
And the judge who had dismissed a case first, dismissed it on sort of like a lack of evidence, and I think that what happened wasn't okay, and it definitely, there was something that happened, and because she had to settle, like, that kind of like implicitly meant that she had lost.
Right.
Just because she didn't win, and the president sort of got away with.
Yeah, he definitely abused his presidential powers.
Oh, totally.
And, even in the first case, they still didn't really, like, let him... Well, no, they did let him off the hook in the first case, right?
Yeah.
And so, I don't know, that also shows how the Supreme Court can be a little bit skewed sometimes. or just maybe not as sufficient as it could be.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it was good that she got something out of it, but also it was definitely not a win for women right there, which kind of sucks.
Yeah. Executive Order 13769, titled Protecting the Nation from Foreign Terrorist Entry into the United States, also known as the Muslim Travel Ban or Travel Ban, was an executive order by the United States President Donald Trump.
The Department of Justice strongly disagrees with the Federal District Court ruling, which is flawed in both reasoning and scope. The President's executive orders fall squarely within his lawful authority in seeking to protect our nation's security, and the department will continue to defend this executive order over court.
President Donald Trump, you are being sued by Hawaii for temporarily barred the issue of new visas to citizens of 6 Muslim-majority countries and suspended the admission of new refugees. Hawaii argued that the president's sweeping order exceeds the president's delegated powers under the Immigration and Naturalization Act that violates our Constitution's system of separate powers.
No. I'm just trying to protect the nation from foreign terrorists entering to the United States. You can't blame me for protecting our country from all these tourists coming in and going so easy in the U.S. First of all, Hawaii court ruling is terrible. They don't know what they don't know what they're doing, but let me tell you something. I think we own to go back to the first one and go all the way. The danger is clear, the law is clear, this need for my execution is clear.
In a 5-4 decision, the court upheld President Trump's travel ban, the court deciding that the plaintiff's claims are justicable and held the proclamation does not violate the president's statutory authority or establishment clause.
What do you guys think about the Trump versus Hawaii case?
Well, of course Trump would tweet that on his Twitter. Are you kidding me? I could totally see him. It was like at 7 a.m. He's like, oh, wow.
He's also just like really weird and like superstitious, and I feel like that's just like kind of creepy, and like why would we want that in a president?
Yeah, I think like he knew like he was gonna win because like he's the president.
Yeah.
But like the fact that he was like scared of terrorists coming in, like doesn't I don't know.
And the majority of people coming in aren't terrorists.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like,
exactly.
You can't block a bunch of people just because one person. Like,
that's true.
Actually, I don't know. Yeah.
But like,
you know what I'm saying?
him being a president, like the terrorists would mostly like trying to aim for him and attack him first. So that's why maybe he was like scared.
But it's so unlikely.
I know.
Like,
true.
He's just so irrational.
Yeah.
Okay. In conclusion, we have a few different things to say.
So we need to connect the cases. So what we're thinking was they're not connected in some ways. Like Clinton and Nixon were personal cases, but Trump's was
a Supreme Court that's saying like they can't stop him from like making the executive orders. So
it was more like international, I guess.
Yeah. So that's how they were different, but I think on the whole they were all like tried by a Supreme Court for something that they did,
right,
or something that applied to their case.
For Nixon, I think that we were on the right track because of the court ruling, which didn't let him off the hook and held him accountable, as well as like kind of like making him resign, as well as just the fact that he did resign from office.
And then for Trump, we think that like he was not on the right track because it was not really fair for like everyone.
Yes, and for Clinton, I don't know. I think because part of it was like he was able to go through the lawsuit. I thought that was good because he did something wrong. He needed to be held accountable, but obviously he was not held accountable because he did not have to admit his wrongdoing, which I think that is where we weren't on the right track because this woman had experienced something terrible, and she wasn't like he wasn't held accountable for his actions, and I don't think
Mhm.
that was good. Yeah.